Howdy, I'm known as Dimwit, the last mountain man, feared throughout the land. Sure. And this is a drop breech rifle patented in 1860. It was first made by Allen Wheelock and Ethan Allen and Company, but later on they were made by Forehand Wadsworth, Worcester, Massachusetts, and it's got patent dates September 18th, 1860. So this is another early metallic cartridge gun, and this is the third one that I've been showing off. I had an early Lee rifle and an early Ballard rifle, and so this will be my kind of third video on these. I'll let you have a closer look at it before we'll shoot it. Let's see. Okay. And it's got a compartment in the buttstock here that you can open, and you can have some cleaning gear in there, important on a black powder rifle. And also this gun is a takedown. There's a screw here that runs all the way through till the other side. It's got this square head on it. Screw that out and you can yank the gun in two, and easier to bring along, I guess. And how the mechanism works is you have a latch here. You actually you have your finger in on the trigger like that, and you move it to the back of the trigger, and you push this latch, and then you push the trigger guard down and forward, and it drops down that breech there, and as you push it down further, there's an ejector that pushes out the spent casings. And like that. And it shoots 44 rimfire cartridge, and it's called the extra long Ballard. And that's of all the 44 rimfire cartridges, that's the longest one. And you can't buy these anymore, so I had to make some, and I'll show it to you like so. And I made this from these. That's 303 Savage brass. Not 303 British, it's 303 Savage. and of course that is a center fire, but the rifle is a rimfire. So it's been converted, and what I've done is I have drilled out the center of the cartridge and threaded it, and screwed in a piece of threaded brass using some high temperature, high strength Loctite, and then I milled a new hole here, and I'm using 6mm blanks as primers, and then it's fitted with a heel base bullet intended for the 44 Henry cartridge. And the 44 extra long Ballard actually has a little bit of a longer casing, and I could have done that. I could have made it even a little bit longer than the Ballard also, because there's some extra room to go on there. But this bullet is kind of long, and it was hitting the lands of the rifling before it was seated. So I decided to make the casings shorter to avoid that problem. Now I could have reamed out the rifling at the end of the chamber, making the chamber a little longer, and I could make cartridges that were even longer than the extra long Ballard, and maybe I'll do that. That of course gives you more room for powder, and there's, when you make a converted cartridge like this, there's less room for black powder in it, because there's just more metal in this thing. But that 6mm blank, it's kind of hot, it's loud and powerful, and that makes up for some of that lost space for black powder. So we'll see how it goes, and maybe I'll lengthen the chamber and make some longer cartridges. So we'll see. But I haven't shot this rifle before, and I kind of doubt it's been fired in probably a century, because at the time these guns were made, the firearm industry was really on a roll. A lot of things happened during the Civil War, and a lot of industry, and you had pretty soon everybody had magazine guns and more powerful guns, and so these single shot rimfire guns made right after the American Civil War and during the Civil War, they kind of became old-fashioned pretty quick. So let's shoot it and see if we can bring it back to life after maybe a century. We make sure the hammer's in half cock, and we'll open the action, and we'll put this in here like this. And I have to make sure that blank is on top, kind of, so the hammer will strike it. And now the gun is closed and ready to go. All we have to do is cock the hammer and pull the trigger. Oh, that went well. And put it in half cock. There we go. Now it looks like this. And let's do it again. There's more recoil than I would have thought, because like I said, I was kind of wishing for a little more room for powder, but it's not bad. I should have brought my chronograph along. I see no need to stop there. Also, it has quite a nice rear sight. You can flip that up, and it's adjustable up and down, and you can get out there pretty far, I guess. So it's a really nice gun. Close up again. Like you see, the gun is kind of jumping, so there's a lot of these black powder guns really don't have a lot of recoil, and of course this is quite a heavy bullet. I can't remember, but I think it's 220 grains. And I actually haven't measured how much powder goes in here, because what I do is I make sure the bullet is seated in there properly first, and then I fill the cartridge with black powder before I insert the blank in there. And another tip, if you're trying this and having problems with this blank staying in there properly, you can take some clear fingernail polish and put around in that hole and let that dry before you load them, and that will seal better and give it friction so that blank will stay in there. Okay. And there is actually casings that you can buy like this. Dixie Gun Works, they got them in several different calibers, and there's a company in France or Belgium, not sure. They also have several different cartridges, and they also have pinfire cartridges that you can reload. So no reason to not shoot with these old rimfires anymore. I got 2 more cartridges, and I'm going to spend them all and give them a cleaning and reload them again and see if the dimensions have changed. My bullets, the heel base had to be crimped a little bit to get them in there, and I'm kind of hoping that the casings have expanded a little bit now so that the bullets will fit in there without me having to crimp the size of the heel base anymore. So we'll see how that goes, but we'll just shoot these 2 last cartridges and we'll call it a day. One more. And then I'll have to go home and pretend to be John again. That sucks. Well, half cock. Now, you don't see too many of these guns being shot on YouTube, and I have quite a few videos now out there with old rare guns that probably haven't been shot in a century, or some of them even more. And I have quite a few more guns to show you, and also my favorite guns are the mountainman guns, and I prefer the old muzzle loading smooth bores, and I got several of them that I like to show you. I have a few smooth bore videos out there already, so if you enjoy these things, you might want to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you later.